My camera is rolling. Tell me your name.
Landon Floyd.
Joshua Gurvich.
We're going live on national TV in 3,
Gurvich.
2.
Good morning. I am Joshua Gurvich along with Landon Floyd, and we are here to make some predictions. First, let's start with the NFC East. Landon, who do you think will come out of that division on top?
I think that the Eagles will come out on top. What about you, Josh?
I think that this will be the Cowboys' year. I think that they have matured enough. I think Tony Romo has to step it up. Miles Austin and Des Bryant have to be a little bit better. Jason Witten will do what he always does, be the best tight end in the league. DeMarcus Ware has to be a beast like always. Morris Claiborne has to step up a little bit and help that cornerback safety group because he's the best out of all of those. And I think this will be the Cowboys' year. Now, Landon, let's go on to the AFC South. What do you think about that division?
I think that the Falcons and Saints will battle it out, but I think the Falcons will end up winning. It's going to be tough, but I think they'll end up doing it. They have a great quarterback in Matt Ryan, and Julio Jones and Roddy White are a great duo, and they have running backs Michael Turner and Jacuzzi Rogers, so I think they'll come out on top. What about you?
I think that the Falcons will also come on top. Just like you mentioned, Julio Jones and Roddy White complement each other. They're a great wide receiving core. Tony Gonzalez signed on to stay another season. He's going to be a great asset to their team, and hopefully they can get it done. Matt Ryan has to play like he always does. He got that huge contract. He has to play for that contract. And Steven Jackson will be a great addition. Their defense is pretty good. I think the loss of John Abraham will affect them a little bit, but I think they will come out to win the division, and I think they will go further in the playoffs this year than regular. Tampa Bay is overrated. They don't have that great of a team. The Saints will have a pretty off year. Maybe they'll go like 10-6, not better than that. And Carolina, I don't think they have the players. Ron Rivera is a good coach. I don't think Cam Newton's ready for the big time yet. All right, let's go to our third and final prediction. What do you think about the AFC North, Landon?
Well, I think that it'll come down to the Ravens, even though the Steelers are probably going to be pretty close. But the Ravens just always have the great defense, and Ray Rice and Joe Flacco, and Jacoby Jones is a great wide receiver, and I think that they're just going to win the division this year. What about you?
I also agree with you on that topic. I think Joe Flacco has to show up with his contract because Joe Flacco signed a new contract. He has to play for it. Joe Flacco also has to have a great wide receiving core in Torrey Smith and Jacoby Jones. Even though Anquan Bolden left and Ray Lewis retired and Ed Reed went to Houston, I think they're still going to have a good team, and hopefully they will win the division and go on to go far in the playoffs. For Landon Floyd, I'm Joshua Gurvich saying goodbye from SBC Nation. Goodbye.
Camera's rolling. And tell me your name.
Keith Magnuson.
Anthony Velez. Connor Dignan.
And we're going live on Network TV in 3, 2.
Hello and welcome to the One and Done Football TV show. I'm Keith Magnuson along with Anthony Velez and Connor Dignan. We're here today to talk about NFL football. Connor, what do you have for us?
Today we're going to be talking about Super Bowl picks and the awards. Who are you guys' Super Bowl picks?
Well, it's kind of early. I mean, preseason's just getting around the corner, but I have the early favorite for me right now in the NFC is probably the Falcons. They've been trying hard, and it looks like the Falcons may make it this year. Matty Ice signing that big contract this season, making him one of the most highest paid players in the NFL, which I honestly don't think he deserves to be, but the Falcons look like they can make it. And as for the AFC, I might go with the shocker, but I think the Colts can get there. So I have Falcons and Colts, and Falcons over Colts, really, because Andrew Luck has proven that he can lead this team, and with some new rookies coming in and some veterans, the Colts looks like they can maybe take a trophy back to Indianapolis. What do you think, Anthony?
For AFC, isn't really a shocker. I think the Broncos will make it because if it weren't for some bad secondary play, I think they would have beat the Falcons in that AFC Championship game. But I have to agree with him. NFC, they do have one of the best receiver cores, and with new signings on defense, I think, and the newly acquired Steven Jackson at running back, that just gives them more depth, and with a decent return man, Jaquez Rodgers, I think they're going to be a very tough team to beat. I'm going to have to agree on the Broncos. The Broncos got Wes Walker in the offseason, and I think their passing is going to be dominant this year.
It's Wes Welker, Connor.
Welker, sorry.
Just thought I'd point that out.
Sorry.
But who do you have for the NFC to make it to the Super Bowl?
I'm going to have to say, I don't know. It's going to be very tough. There's the Packers. There's the Vikings.
And tell us what you think about the Packers, Connor.
Well, I think they have Aaron Rodgers, who is always great, and they just got Eddie Lacy in the draft. And I know what you're going to say, Keaton.
He came to training camp and he's fat. He's gained a lot of.
Well, then we have Jonathan Franklin.
You didn't know who he was a couple of days
Yeah, I
ago.
did.
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
I asked you.
Actually, Eddie Lacy, I think he's going to turn into more of a truck than a running back. If you've seen those power backs, I think he's going to turn into one of those.
He's always been one, but
I know he's going to be a big power back. I think that Eddie Lacy, it just adds depth and better play action for Aaron Rodgers to get the passing going.
All right, so let's get this in. MVP picks. What do you have?
I'm going to have to say AP has another great season. I think he's going to break the rushing record this year. I'm putting that down right now. This may be Peyton's last year, but I'm going with Peyton Manning only because he's going to have Wes Welker to make him look good. Not that he's a bad passer or anything, but it's just going to make him look even better than he was last year.
I'm going with Drew Brees. Last season, Drew Brees nobody noticed him because of the Sean Payton, the bounty scandals, and all of that, and they didn't give him any notice. So Drew Brees is going to have another giant season. He's going to pass over 5,000 yards. All right, that's it for the One and Done Football TV show. I'm Keith Magnuson. This is Anthony Velez and Connor Dignan, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
My camera's rolling. Tell me your name.
Chris Pollock.
Quentin Stevens.
George Corey.
Hey, we're going live on network in 3, 2.
Welcome to ESPN's NFL preseason show. I'm Quentin Stevens here along with Chris Pollock and George Corey. Today we'll be talking about our playoff predictions, playoff predictions. Let's start with the South, NFC South.
Okay, I'm going the clear front runners here, the Atlanta Falcons. It's no question, Matt Ryan. They have got a pretty easy schedule along the way. I think it'll help them out significantly.
Definitely easy schedule, definitely a pretty easy division. I'm definitely going with the Falcons. They have a great team, Matt Ryan's really good. What do you think?
I'm going to have to disagree with you. I'm saying it's the New Orleans Saints. They have Drew Brees. Forget the running back, but I know just from past, they have a great offense. They can be able to control it clearly, and their defense is just stellar. So, New Orleans Saints by far.
Then let's go to the West.
NFC West, for me, I think it's definitely just a two-team race, the 49ers and the Seahawks. And for me, I'm taking the latter. I think Seattle is the best defense in the league. I think Seattle has a brilliant offense. I think Seattle are the team to beat.
I'm going to have to disagree with you, and I'm going to be going with the 49ers. I think they're the best team in that division. They now know what the Super Bowl is about. They've been there, done that. I think now they just really want to win it. They didn't lose too many players, and Colin Kaepernick's coming for a second year. He's going to know more. He's more familiar. I think they're going to be something to be reckoned with.
This is probably the toughest division in not just the NFC, but the whole National Football League. You have two great teams, as you said, the 49ers and the Seahawks. Both are stellar. I'm going to have to go with the Seahawks on this one. They brought in a great quarterback, and then the defense is very good. And they just also brought Percy Harvin from the Vikings. There's 30 more points in each game there.
Yeah, Percy Harvin's injured.
Yeah.
But he's coming back. He'll be ready for the season.
All right, next let's go to the NFC North.
Okay, NFC North. For me, also 2-3 team race. But I'm going with the dark horse pick here, Minnesota. I'm going Adrian Peterson, Minnesota Vikings, Greg Jennings, brought in. He'll make a pretty big impact. Now Christian Ponder's actually going to have somebody to throw to along the outside, and giving Peterson some room to run.
I'm gonna have to go with the Vikings on this one too. I mean, Christian Ponder he had a good season last year, and Adrian Peterson's just stellar with the ball. He's a scoring machine with that ball.
I just don't know how they can beat.
We already did 3 minutes.
Okay. I just don't know how he can beat. I don't think that they could beat the Packers, and I think we all agree here. I know what I want. I think in the West. I think in the East, it's definitely the Giants. You?
No, Washington, RG3.
Yeah, Washington RG3.
All right.
The only problem there, if he doesn't get healthy, then we're gonna have a problem there.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we're gonna have to do the AFC tomorrow. Goodbye.
Let's say I'm so-and-so for so-and-so. What's the name of your show?
I'm Quentin Stevens with ESPN.
ESPN NFL pregame special.
And just say their names. Say their names one time.
Here's Chris Pollock, and there's George Corey. Signing off.
Great, guys. That's rolling, and tell me your name.
Cameron Withorn.
Jack Nuttall.
Anthony Chavez.
Okay, we're going live on national TV in 3, 2.
Hello and welcome to the NFL preseason edition of ESPN. Hi, I'm Jack Nuttall, along with my co-hosts Anthony Chavez and Cameron Withorn. First on the list, who is going to be the best player coming off the injury?
I think it's going to be Adrian Peterson, especially with his running yards, and he's a great running back. He's really fast. He has great stamina, and I think he's going to do great this season.
Well, Adrian Peterson was injured this past year. He was injured 2 seasons ago. But my pick for this season is going to be Arian Foster, knowing that he's been one of the best running backs the past few years. I think after that injury, he's going to be able to shine a lot more in Houston.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. And with Matt Schaub still being a little shaky in the first couple of years, they're going to have to depend on Adrian Peterson for a lot more yards. Arian Foster, sorry. For number 2, who's going to be the best NFL quarterback this season?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to have to go with Aaron Rodgers. He's young, he's got a great arm, great accuracy, he's a great player. The one problem I see is his injury to his left tackle, Brian Beluga, who was a key player and now he's injured. Jordy Nelson, who's going to be out but he's going to be back by the time regular season starts. His injury may be a little concerning, but other than that, he's going to be the best quarterback in the league.
I think it's going to be Drew Brees this season. They have after this bounty scandal that just happened, I think they're going to regroup. Drew Brees is going to take advantage and do great and get the team back together in formation and have a great season.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with both of you. I'm going to have to say Peyton Manning, just his leadership skills and his just the way he handles things and his veteranship. Like, he's been in the league for a long time, so he knows how to play and how to trust his receivers. So, and our third topic, will Adrian Peterson break Eric Dickerson's single season record for most yards in a season?
I have to say he definitely will, knowing that if he can do that coming off a complete knee injury, he's definitely going to be able to come back from that this upcoming season and rush for even more yards than Eric Dickerson could have even imagined. He's one of the best running backs I've ever seen play.
I agree. He's going to come back very strong. He just needs to get healthy, get 100% better, be ready for the season, and I think he'll do great.
Yeah, I have to agree, but the defense are going to start to have to adjust to him of how he plays his running back style, so it might be a little harder for him than it was last year. So for Cameron Withorn and Anthony Chavez, I'm Jack Nuttall. Good night.
Shall we rock and roll here?
Yeah.
All right, my camera's rolling. Tell me your name.
Jack Fuchs.
Michael Marone.
Jaden Pendle.
And we're rolling in live TV. 3, 2.
Hi, I'm Michael Marone, and this is Jack Fuchs and Jaden Pindola. So today it's the NFL pregame show.
the New York Jets will be facing the Denver Broncos in the first game of the regular season. So, Jaden, how do you think the Jets are going to do, being the underdog in this game?
I think the Jets will do amazing. I think Sanchez will have a breakout season until Geno Smith is ready to come, and I think that'll be in a few games, but I think Mark Sanchez will only let up 2 interceptions a game, an improvement from last year.
So, do you think since the Jets are the underdogs, they're gonna win today? Because every other game in the regular season, in the first game right now, the predicted team that's gonna win has won so far. Do you think they'll be the first?
Well, the Jets have a tough situation right now. They're not sure which QB is going to start. Might be Geno Smith, might be Mark Sanchez, but I think Mark Sanchez is going to start this year. Their running backs and their wide receivers, the Jets are a mess right now, let's face it. And the Broncos brought in a really good receiver, and the Patriots pick up Wes Welker. So, with Peyton Manning and a new receiver and the Broncos' great defense, they're probably going to win this game.
So, do you think Peyton Manning is going to be better today or worse than last season this year?
What do you think?
I think they'll be about the same. I mean, it was amazing how good he did with coming back from that neck injury. And you have Wes Welker, as he said, coming from the Patriots. And I think Monte Ball from Wisconsin is going to be amazing. I think it was a great draft pick at number 28. And I think they'll win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, Broncos definitely have a really good team. And Peyton's amazing during the regular season, but in the playoffs, look at his records and his stats. He just hasn't been doing that well in the playoffs lately. Think they can turn that around?
I would put all my money on it in Vegas.
Yeah, me too.
Broncos will be good.
Yeah, so which team do you think had the better draft this year?
Definitely the Broncos.
I think the Broncos had a great draft pick in Monty Ball, as I said earlier, but Geno Smith was just a great draft pick by the Jets.
Geno Smith, everyone thought he might go 1-1, and I was surprised to even think about that. But the Jets took him, and Jets are in a tough situation with the QBs, and it'll be interesting.
It was a great pick because they got Geno Smith way later than they thought he would go.
So
it was a steal if he's going to actually turn out that well, but we don't know yet.
Yeah,
We'll see how he does with Rex Ryan.
Do you think the Jets should pick up Tyrann Mathieu or Manti Te'o?
Tyrann Mathieu, great player, and I think Manti Te'o would have been a good guy to get to. I mean, I don't believe in this fake girlfriend stuff. It's his fault. I feel like someone played a mean joke on him, and it's not his fault at all, and they just ruined him.
I'd say the Manti Te'o, it's just too hard to understand whether he's telling the truth or not, but the Honey Badger, he's crazy, man.
Yeah, the Chargers got a great
So do you
steal
think
there.
Jets or Broncos?
Jets.
Broncos. It'll be a good game.
So this is our NFL pregame show. I'm Michael Marone. This is Jaden Pindola, and that's Jack Fuchs.
Thank you for listening.
We're signing off.
My camera's rolling. Hey, Ann, tell me your name.
Jordan Applebaum.
Sam Coppell.
Nicholas Bear.
And we're live on national TV in 3, 2.
Hello, I'm Sam Coppell.
I'm Nicholas Bear.
And I'm Jordan Applebaum. And here we are at the NFL pregame. Today we're going to talk about how Riley Cooper's racial slurs and NFL playoff predictions. So, Jordan, who do you think will make the Super Bowl this year?
I think the Super Bowl will be. I think the 49ers can make it, but I think it's all the Bears. Yeah.
Well, I think it could actually be a great matchup between the Panthers and the Patriots. Do you agree?
I agree, yeah.
Okay.
I don't agree with that. I don't think the Panthers can make it that far at all. I don't think the Panthers can make it to the playoffs. I think
it's the 49ers instead of the Panthers. I think you may be correct, but let's see. So now let's talk about Riley Cooper's racial slurs. Do you think he should be suspended, or do you think it was let on too easy, or did they let it on correctly?
I think he should have been suspended because like half of football is like African American, or basically like 3/4, and I think they were basically all offended by that, what he said. So I think he should be suspended for at least 45 games. Not 45 games, 25 games.
Okay. Well, I think Riley Cooper should have been suspended about 3 games, not including preseason, because with the, like what happened with the Saints, you kind of have to like do it first, and then after it happens again, you suspend them for life, because if they do it again, it can get very hard. Do you agree?
I agree very much with what you guys say.
Okay.
I agree actually more with what you said, because now that I think about it, I think he should only be suspended for a few games, not like 25. That's a quarter of the season.
Who do you think will win the MVP this year? Do you think Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, and Robert Griffin, do you think they'll win it?
I think actually Peyton Manning can actually win this MVP this year very much, or Eli Manning. But I think Peyton Manning has a much bigger chance of winning the MVP.
Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. So now this is Sam Coppell
Nicholas Bear.
Jordan Applebaum.
reporting out.
Okay.
Water. I said keep going.
And who's here? Tell me your name, please.
All day Newen.
John Souza.
And we're going live on national TV in 3, 2.
Hello, my name is Alday Newen with my friend John Souza on ESPN Super Bowl 48 pregame.
So today we have the Seahawks taking on the Broncos in this great Super Bowl game. And the Seahawks did pretty well to get here. They went close to undefeated, only losing once to the San Francisco 49ers. That was pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing, yeah.
And the Broncos got here a pretty different way. I mean, they won their division pretty easy because don't have a pretty good division, but they finished at 12-4, and that was a pretty good season for them.
Yeah. John, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl?
I think it's going to be Seattle because they have the best defense ever. I mean, Richard Sherman is so good, and he could lock down any receiver any day, anytime you want him to. I mean, I think he's going to shut down Wes Welker and everybody else on this great team.
Well, I think actually the Denver Broncos are going to win because they have also a great cornerback, Champ Bailey, you got to admit. Champ Bailey, a Pro Bowl roller for like 5 years. He's a great cornerback, you got to admit. The Broncos also have Peyton Manning, who's a great quarterback, and Wes Welker, they got from New England Patriots, they just got.
Only thing that I have to say against you is Champ Bailey's kind of getting old, though. He's in his 30s, late 30s, and I think that might be the factor. And I think special teams is going to come out big today. I mean, Seattle has great returners, and so does the Denver, and I think this one's going to come down to the play of the quarterbacks. What about you, all day?
Yeah, it's probably the play of the quarterbacks because if you see the wide receivers are both the same. The defense, you got to give it to Seattle. The offense, you got to give it to the Broncos. So they're probably matched up evenly. So it's coming down either special teams or the quarterbacks. Russell Wilson and Peyton Manning's.
I think it's. I also like the coaching matchup in this game. I mean, I think for me as a USC fan, it's kind of great to see Pete Carroll back in the national spotlight. Now being with Seattle in the Super Bowl, and just a couple years ago being with USC in the Rose Bowl out in Pasadena. And then you have John Fox coaching that great team for Denver. I mean, he's a great coach.
Okay. So it might come up to the plays of the coaches too. Who do you think will have the better offense in this game?
I think it might be Seattle because they just have their running game is just. I mean, having Marshawn Lynch and having Russell Wilson, each of those people running for about 150 a game,
and then you have little people that make a big difference, like Robert Turbin.
Who do you think will have the defense?
I think it's going to be Seattle. I think they'll, by a slim margin, though. And I think it's just going to be the play of the cornerbacks. I mean, they're even at defensive end, defensive line, and they're even at linebacker. And I think
Safeties.
yeah, they're even at safety, but I think it's cornerbacks because nobody can beat Brandon Browner and Richard Sherman. I think those two are probably best players ever.
Well, I think actually the best cornerbacks actually are Darrell Revis. You have to give it to Darrell Revis. D'Angelo Hall getting old, but he was pretty good cornerback lately. Yeah, I think still the best is Darrell Revis.
And I think Seattle might pull this one out in overtime. And that's been our pregame show about the Super Bowl 48. I'm John Souza with All Day Newen. Thank you for watching ESPN.
Brought to you by Bud Light.
And we're going live on national TV say your name.
Mark Steensland.
Nathan Morales.
Antonio Davila.
We're going live in 3, 2.
Hello everyone, my name is Nathan Morales along with my co-host Mike Stevenson and Anthony Davila. We are here at the pregame NFC Championship pregame show. Who do you think is going to be the player to watch?
I think the player to watch is Colin Kaepernick and Russell Wilson because, I mean, QB is the most important position in football, and I think Colin Kaepernick and both of them will have both games. I think they'll do lots of running, but at the same time, I think they'll launch a couple bombs. What do you think, Antonio?
Well, I think the player to watch here is Vernon Davis. He is a matchup nightmare. He's just very fast for a guy his size. I don't think there's anyone on the field that can really truly cover him, so I think that you need to watch out for him.
Personally, I think Marshawn Lynch is going to be a huge factor since he's so fast, he can just sneak up behind him and go for a touchdown. So, you guys, who do you think the defense is going to be?
I think the defense is really tough. Seahawks have an amazing defense, and so do the 49ers. I think the 49ers will come back on top of the defense, but don't forget the Seahawks, too.
Well, the Seahawks definitely have a stronger secondary. The 49ers' main weakness is their secondary, but they can make up with their monster defensive line. But however, the Seahawks do have a very good defensive line too, but the Niners have the best offensive line in the game, so that's not going to be very helpful for the Seahawks.
Speaking of this, the wide receivers are going to be on 49ers are going to be a huge factor. How do you think the Seahawks are going to adjust to that and guard them well?
I think that Seahawks do have good wide receivers. They have Sidney Rice, Golden Tate, and if Russell Wilson's able to get the spin on the ball and launch it down in the field, then I think they'll have a lot of touchdowns. And don't forget about running the ball. Also, Marshawn Lynch he's a beast. I mean, that one game he had against the Saints, he dominated. And if he has another game of those, Seahawks are definitely going to come out on top.
The 49ers also have an amazing workhorse in Frank Gore, even at the age of 30, but they also have a pretty good receiving core, too. Last offseason, they went and got Anquan Bolden to go with Michael Crabtree. Michael Crabtree actually just came back, and they also have Quentin Patton and A.J. Jenkins and Vernon Davis, too, so I think those are pretty even.
Okay. The 49ers, if their stats, the running game is harder to guard than the receiving. Do you think the Seahawks should run more or pass the ball more?
I think the Seahawks should run the ball. I mean, you have Marshawn Lynch, a very strong running back, one of the best in the league. And their wide receivers aren't bad, but I think the wide receivers aren't what they're really looking for in this game. I think they're really looking for to go to the rushing game and feed Marshawn the ball at least a lot of times.
Well, the 49ers have a very weak secondary. They have Dante Whitner, who's a pretty good safety, and they have their rookie Eric Reed. But then their cornerbacks, they have Carlos Rogers and Nnamdi Asomugha. And Terrell Brown, too. So I think they should definitely pass more, especially with San Francisco's 3 All-Pro linebackers and a bunch of Pro Bowl defensive linemen, too. So.
Now, finally, the question they tuned in for. Who's going to win the NFC Championship?
I'm going to have to go with the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks just want it more, and they're going to be fired up to win this game against the 49ers with their running game.
And I agree for that, too. Russell Wilson is an amazing quarterback. He can run the ball. He's in trouble. Marshawn Lynch, he's in trouble. Golden Tate, and they're just an unbelievable force together, and they're a great team.
Well, the 49ers are playing at home, so I think that's a big disadvantage, especially since the Seahawks have that 12th man. But I might have to say 49ers. It's just Colin Kaepernick is amazing.
Well, that's all for tonight. Have fun at the game. This is Nathan Morales, Mike Steenland, and Antonio Davila. Good night.
And do me a favor, tell me your name.
Charlie Hobart.
Aaron Goldstein.
Patrick DeMarco.
And we're live on National Network TV in 3, 2.
Hi, I'm Aaron Goldstein with Patrick DeMarco and Charlie Hobart. Patrick, who do you think will win the NFC West? Niners, Seahawks?
I think the Seahawks win it because they signed Percy Harvin in the offseason. I think he'll be a big role to the Seahawks is winning the division.
I totally think the Niners, with Colin Kaepernick, young talent, I think he can take them a long way, and the defense we obviously know has always been good.
I agree with you, Aaron. I think the Niners are going to take the NFC West because they made it last year. They got to the Super Bowl. They couldn't quite win it, but they got a young team. Colin Kaepernick. They got Frank Gore. They got a bunch of great players that will lead them to another ring.
Yeah. Well, the past few years, the Steelers haven't been the Steelers. They haven't. Last year, they didn't even make the playoffs, and the year before, they got knocked out by the Broncos and Tebow Mania early. Do you think that they can be a contender, or will they continue rough times?
I mean, I think they won't make it to the playoffs. I think Cincinnati has a young team, and they had a good draft pick, and I just don't think the Ravens can have a season they did last season.
Yeah, without Ray Lewis,
Without Ray
very
Lewis,
tough.
it's one of the best linebackers in football.
How about you, Charlie?
The Ravens, I'm not sure about them. They could be a playoff team. Right now, they look like they could make the playoffs. They got Flacco, they got Rice. I think they're going to be a playoff contender. How about you?
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Do you think Green Bay can do well, or do you think that they'll have a tough year? Because Rodgers always big.
I mean, my opinion though, I think the Falcons. Sorry, wrong division. The Lions. I think Matthew Stafford is gonna have a year of his life, and adding Reggie Bush, he'll do amazing. And Calvin Johnson, he's gonna have the best year. I think they'll win the division. Green Bay, they've been okay. Their running backs are okay. James Jones is a little washed up, but I still think the Lions can win it.
I love Megatron. I mean, last year he broke the record. And speaking of that record, I thought Jerry Rice handled it really well because he had the former record by saying, congrats to Megatron. I think that'll wrap it up. This is Patrick DeMarco, Charlie Hobart. I'm Aaron Goldstein.
And you will sign your names there. What's your name, please?
Jordan Bidikian, Caleb Crane, Ben Turkel.
And we're live on national TV in 3, 2.
So it's a chilly one here in Baltimore on a beautiful sunny January day, but still, it's pretty cold. But people don't worry about that here. I'm Caleb Crane with Jordan Bidikian and Ben Turkel for the 2014 AFC Championship game. This game is a rematch from last year, so there's some blood here. Let's find out what's going to happen. Ben, who's your prediction to win the game and why?
Well, I think the Ravens are. I mean, even though they don't have Ray Lewis and some of their great players, they have Ray Rice, they have amazing Joe Flacco. I mean, and now that Ray Lewis is gone, I mean, they really want to win another one, even though they know they have lost a lot of star players, and they just absolutely have really great talent.
Okay, thanks, Ben. Jordan, do you agree or disagree? Who's your pick?
Caleb, I'm going to have to go with the Broncos here. I mean, I think Ray Lewis was the only one standing in Peyton Manning's way last year. And I think since they've lost some of the edge in their defense and one of their main, defenders, I think Peyton Manning is just going to pick the Ravens defense apart. and just he's going to throw a bunch of touchdowns, throw for maybe 400 yards passing wise. I'm big predictions for Peyton Manning on this day.
I mean, I really disagree. It's like, even though they did lose some of their good wide receivers to San Francisco, like Anquan Bolden, and they lost Ed Reed to the Texans, they still have amazing players. You can't disagree. They have an MVP, Joe Flacco. But
yeah, I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying they have a few amazing players, but most of the people you've mentioned have been the offensive players. And you said, Ed Reed and Ray Lewis were the big parts of this Ravens defense. And since they've been traded, I think that Peyton Manning, who's got a great offense here, and the Broncos, who have a more well-balanced game, will take them out.
Well, they still have Darrell Suggs, and he has really much sacking potential, and I mean they still have good defense.
Yeah, this venue is a bit different from last year, and so that means the Ravens had a 12-4 record this year compared to the 11-5 of the Broncos. It's a very tight matchup, and I don't see there's much room for error. Do you either?
No.
So we'll see you at halftime when this game may or may not be in jeopardy of win or lose. I'm Caleb Crane.
I'm Ben Turkel.
And I'm Jordan Badikian.
And have a good day.